Hi, and welcome back to the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Um, really happy to be here today. And today I'll be presenting class 5, but I want to just touch on a little bit about Alix's last class in course 4, class 4. She talked about regret, recall, rebalance, and restrain. Those are the four powers or the four forces. And it made me think of what I talked about yesterday about having a dog collar and an imaginary bodyguard in my head, and it really links to that. If I can regret using my intelligence of regret of what I did in the past, then that watchman in my head, that the guard dog in my head, will catch me when I start to do something different, and maybe buzz me with my shot collar and make me do something different. And that's a really good thing to have in mind, when you're going about your day to day life, what you can do in your daily practice to stop yourself from replanting bad seeds. I like to think of that expression that I love to use. It's my own personal mantra of stop, drop, and roll. I start to have a mental agitation or getting angry in traffic, and I have my Shin, my watchdog, give me a little buzz. That's me stopping. And then I drop, I change my focus to do something different, remembering it's the power of recalling that I'll get a bad reaction in the future if I do this again. So that's my drop. And then the roll is to do something different. So I just wanted to review that again and thank Alix for the beautiful class that she just taught. And then we can start on the class that I'll be doing today, which is class 5 of course 10. So I'm going to start my share screen. Nope, let's go back. Slideshow. Hello, we're learning. This has been a lot of fun. Alix and I have had a really great time learning to live through the obstacles that we're experiencing. And let's see. Oh, she's going to come help me. That's really great. Anyway, we've just had such a good time doing this presentation to share with you what we've learned. And it's really been a benefit to us because we've learned ourselves so much of what we need to do ourselves so that we can have a healthy life of becoming a bodhisattva. We're by teaching this class, even with all the obstacles, we're burning off bad seeds and creating new good seeds by reacting differently when we have a bad seed. Yay, thank you, Alix. So in this part, we're going to just talk a little bit more about the four forces, which I did in reviewing a little bit of Alix's class. We're going to learn how to plant the good virtue that we need to actually reach to have bodhicitta and then to become a bodhisattva so that we can take that practice and have the virtue to plant the seeds we need to see see emptiness directly and be on our path to becoming a totally enlightened being. And we do that by asking our lamas to stay and teach and dedicating the goodness that we've done. So this is all taken from the commentary on the Bodhisattva's Guide to the Way of Life. And the commentary was written by Gyaltsab J. Dharma Rinchen, who was Jason Kappa's student and became the throne holder when Jason Kappa went to his final nirvana. And it's called Entry Point for the Children of the Victorious Buddhas. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the three poisons. And the three poisons are the cause of all of our suffering. Alix told that really, it's kind of a funny story about the three guys or the three people who go to the bar and drink the poison, and how that relates to our to our regret that we wish we wouldn't have done that because we know we're going to get a bad consequence. Well, the three poisons are really important to us because in Alix's talk, also, she mentioned an antidote of what we can do when we have done something bad in the four forces, how we can stop that bad seed from ripening to its full extent. And in order to use the antidote, we have to know what the poison is. We can't use an antidote unless we really see clearly what it is. It's our sickness. And that's what we're going to talk about next. And there's 3 types of poisons that just contaminate our whole life, and they're with us all the time. And the first one is ignorant liking. So what is ignorant liking? Does it mean that we can't like anything? Or does it mean everything's bad? Well, ignorant liking is a little different. It's liking things without understanding where they come from. And that's the ignorant part of it. It doesn't mean we don't like everything. It's good to like other people. I mean, that's what we want to do when we develop our bodhicitta to become a bodhisattva. We like other people. We want to help them. We also like food because we're in this human body and we do need to eat. So this ignorant liking is liking things in a way that we would do something bad to get it. Alix talked about her e-bike. It's really cool. She was, even though she'd won the coupon to go and get an e-bike, she was grasping to get the e-bike that she wanted, probably in the color and style, before anybody else could get to it, believing that the e-bike was self-existent and forgetting that it was coming from her good seeds, that she, first of all, got the coupon for the e-bike and that their e-bike itself was not coming from the store, but from her good actions in the past. So if we can remember where things come from while we're partaking of them, it's an antidote to our ignorance. And the second poison is our ignorant disliking. And this is an interesting one. You think, well, why would I have ignorant disliking? I just simply don't like some things. Well, it's misunderstanding also of where those things that we don't like come from. Like I don't like, I have problems in traffic. I think that's a common thing with a lot of people. We're in traffic and, we get delayed and we think the traffic lights and the slow car in front of us is the reason that we're late to getting somewhere. And that makes us dislike it. We dislike traffic because we think it's a problem. That it's coming at us instead of from us. If we understand that even traffic, whether we have a smooth ride to work or we have road construction, stoplights, every stoplight is red, it's coming from how we've treated others in the past. It's coming from our seeds. And when that's happening, we can't stop it happening in the moment. But what we can do when every single traffic light is red, when everything becomes an obstacle to us, we can think about its emptiness. And that's the antidote, the emptiness of where those red lights are coming from, the emptiness of the slow car in front of us. Where have we delayed someone getting to where they need to go in a timely fashion? Where have we replanted the seed by being angry at the traffic lights, angry at the car in front of us? Those are all creating obstacles that will cause us obstacles to developing our bodhicitta so that we can become a bodhisattva. So we want to clear it away. And the way we clear it away, like Alix mentioned, is our 4 powers, our 4 forces. So we think about that, the emptiness of it and how we can pure it away. And how we can pure it away and clear it away in the moment is, just remembering, recalling, where did it come from? And sometimes when I have that happen, I kind of laugh at myself, like, oh gosh, I did this. I planted it. Why was I so stupid in the past? I don't want to be stupid in the future. So I'm going to think of the opportunities that are arising in this moment when I'm in the slow lane. And I do this a lot. I really do this when I'm commuting between a mountain town to a mountain town for the work that I do. I see new things every single day, and they're beautiful. I see different flowers, different animals, different mountains even. It's crazy, but this happens. And I think it's an opportunity for us to slow down and think about where and how where our world is coming from and how we're creating it by, first of all, what we're thinking, the actions that our thinking makes us do or say, and changing it up. And that's our goal. That's what we want to do, to create a different type of person than we are today. So the third type of poison is ignorance itself. It's this cycle of reproducing ignorant action after ignorant action. the ignorance itself, miss us not knowing that it's us, ourselves, that are creating this world, this reality that we're experiencing right now from the things that we did last week. It's coming from me, from my seeds, from my karma. It's coming this way. And if we think it's coming at us, that's the ignorance that creates this negative self-perpetuating cycle. In the wheel of life, they have three animals: the pigeon, the pig, and the snake. And the tail of each of them is in the mouth of the other one, creating this circle, which represents how we continue to reproduce the negative events in our life. So if I get angry at traffic, or if I angry at traffic because I don't like it, or if I grab onto things ignorantly because I do like it and do something bad so that I get what I want, or do something bad to avoid what I don't like, I'm replanting the same circumstance again and again and again. And it keeps me in this cycle of suffering. And it perpetuates a life that I'll get what I want for a brief time and lose it in the next moment, and doing it over and over again. And I have to ask you, aren't you tired of that? Aren't you tired of living in a life where you can have a meal and then 4 hours later you're hungry again? Aren't you tired of a life where you find some person that you really enjoy being with and then the seeds wear out and they either are no longer your friend, or they've died, or they've moved away? Wouldn't you like to plant seeds that made it possible for you to keep things that you enjoy, and by understanding where they come from and replanting them? I know that's what I'd like to do. And that's what this class is about. We've talked about the four forces so that we can purify all of the bad deeds that we've done in the past and set a clear foundation to plant the good seeds that we need to get on our path to developing our bodhicitta and becoming a bodhisattva, and then planting the virtue that we need to see emptiness directly using the six perfections, which we've mentioned briefly. It's giving with wisdom, ethical behavior, our morality, being cool, treating others how we want to be treated, not getting angry, and being happy about what we do, having a good meditation practice, and developing wisdom, our understanding of emptiness. When we apply that to the things that we do, we're on our path of planting the virtue that we need to see emptiness directly. So in the next part of the class, we're going to talk about what seeds we're going to talk about why we need to get rid of our bad karmas, our bad seeds, and then what we need to plant to reach, to create the seeds we need to become a true bodhisattva and have the true wish for enlightenment to help all beings. So in this next one, we're going to talk about the 3 reasons to make great effort to purify ourselves with the 4 forces. 4 forces. Well, that makes me laugh. I'm going to have to tell you this. I said forces wrong. When my little girl was little, this was a long time ago, she couldn't pronounce H's. So she used to call horses forces. So maybe she was already onto this, getting rid of using the 4 forces to purify our bad seeds. Just an aside. Okay, so the first reason we want to purify our bad seeds is we don't understand karma and its results. If we really think about it, every single moment of every day, we're planting seeds that are creating our future reality. Some of them are good, most of them are bad. And we only do the 4 forces occasionally. And we can't keep up with all the bad karma that we're creating because we don't purify it often enough, because we're really not thinking about anything more than what we're doing in the moment. It's sort of like what the monks in the monastery thought of Master Shantideva, just thinking he was doing nothing, while he was doing this amazing practice. We may look like we're doing a great practice, but really, if you're someone like me, I'm trying to do a practice, but I'm still planting so many bad seeds with the things I'm thinking So many bad seeds when I'm even in traffic trying to remember emptiness. I'm still planting bad seeds with all of my thoughts and or with most of my thoughts. We don't understand karma as much as we need to. We don't understand why we've had so many obstacles to getting to class or having our classes recorded. We don't understand why my nail broke this morning. It's not a big deal. I don't do much with them anyway, but we don't understand the causes for the simple things. So it means we misunderstand most of how we're planting seeds all of the time. So that's a good reason to purify, not only every day, but maybe multiple times a day, because we're planting karma 24/7, every day, every moment, 65 times per heartbeat. Well, no, faster than that. 65 times for a snap of a finger. Okay. And then the next one is what little we do understand about karma, we plant more bad seeds. I've kind of covered that. We might have the wisdom within us to understand karma, emptiness intellectually, but we've not seen it directly. So we can easily plant more bad seeds than we do good seeds. And that's a great reason to purify as much as possible, as often as possible. And finally, we have to remove obstacles if we want to reach the true wish for enlightenment. And that's why we need to do purification frequently, because if we want to get anywhere on this path, we need to clear out things that are blocking us from reaching it so we can recall it. We can stop, drop, and roll, have our Sheishin, our watch guard, our guard dog in the head, give us a little buzz to remind us. I think in my case, the shot caller is going to run out of batteries before I really catch on. Just have to be reminded all the time. And the next thing we want to do is now think about ways that we want to collect good karma. If we want to really get the good karma that we need to be on this amazing path to become a bodhisattva and get all the benefits of it, there's ways we can collect good karma. And the first of those ways is rejoicing in goodness. And it's not just the goodness that we do, it's the goodness that we see others do. So when we're really happy about our good deeds, we can use our coffee meditation or just recalling at the end of the day or the first thing in the morning or as often as possible. Where did this goodness that come from? Why am I motivated to do this good deed? And, having the awareness while we're doing the good deed that we're planting seeds. It's a really good thing to be happy about. And then I like to think about an expression that we use here in the United States of the grass is always greener on the other side. Well, it's not true. The grass isn't always greener on the other side of the fence. The grass is greener where you water it. So if we water the good seeds of what we've done, those seeds are going to grow fatter and faster and greener so that they'll ripen more quickly. And if we notice when they ripen and think about where they came from, we're just replanting them and watering them so that they continue to grow. So rejoicing in our own goodness and rejoicing in the good things that we see others do. So right now, as I'm sitting in this room presenting this class to the audience and everyone here, I'm really rejoicing in Alix's presentation before this. I'm rejoicing in her good class, her skill set, her hard work to share this information. And guess what? I get 10% of it and she still gets 100%. It's just by being happy in what I see others do, I get 10%. So that's a lot of good seeds. 10% of an hour and a half class of wonderful information. That's a lot of powerful seeds that I'm planting in myself to see more goodness and to do more goodness in the future. So the next one is asking holy beings to turn the wheel of Dharma. So what does that mean? I had to talk to Alix about this because it's complicated. But what it is it's asking this holy beings are the people around us that know more than we do, and in my case, that's most people, is to ask them to teach me, ask them to help me understand what I need to do to really get on this path of becoming a better person so that I can someday become that person who has the capacity to help all beings, unlimited beings, to reach their highest capacity, to become an enlightened being. And that's truly what we want. We want to stop everybody's suffering, not just our own, everyone's suffering. And by asking to learn what we don't know ourselves is a way that we can do that, by asking these holy beings to turn this Dharma wheel in me so that I change from this meat suit into a superpower being, a superhero, that I can be that guy, Iron Man, and go about saving the world. And that's what I really want to do. So I need help, and I'm going to ask for it. And I hope you do too. And the next one is, we're going to ask those holy beings to stay with us. You know, sometimes we have the seeds in us to see people getting older and wasting away. That's from us. We see it coming from us. We see it coming this way. We see those teachers getting older and maybe, you know, preparing to depart into their nirvana. But that's from our seeds. So we get a really good karma by asking them to please stay, please teach us, and they'll stay with us. And it changes our karma to have them stay with us. But if we don't ask, if we don't even think about asking, then we're not planting the seed to keep them with us. So it's really important we think about this. We continue to ask those who can teach us what we need to know to reach enlightenment to please stay with us, and to change our karma to see them doing that. So remember to ask. It plants a really powerful seed. And then we want to dedicate our good deeds. And I like this one. Since I was a little kid, back in my era, it was a big deal when you collected any money from small jobs. Like we used to sell pop bottles and get 2 cents a bottle, and that to us was a lot of money. And then we could go down to the local small savings and loan and start a savings account. And we deposit our pocket money into that savings account. And sometimes you'd be pretty excited when you got up to $15. I know it's different these days, but it was a big deal when I was a kid. And I still like to think about saving things, whether it's, saving things to give to other people or saving money to help people with. But this one is just dedicating our good deeds. If I've done something good today, which I did, I got up early and I got this dog from my daughter who loves rescuing animals and distributing them about the family. I got up earlier this morning so I'd have an opportunity to make sure the dog got a walk. It's a small thing, but I did that. So that good deed of making this dog happy, because she can go out, but she likes to walk with her person. It was a good thing to do. Making some other being happy. I made the dog happy today. So I can take those good seeds and put them in the bank account of helping other people. I can dedicate them to all beings having happiness and the causes of happiness. Maybe all dogs having homes and the causes for homes. And so we can dedicate all of our good deeds. Maybe you cooked breakfast for your kids this morning, or a dinner for them last night, or for a friend. Maybe you visited someone and made their day more exciting or more, happier. Dedicate those good things because they grow. And when you dedicate them to a cause that you want to see come about, like the cause for everybody having food, shelter, and the causes for them, it's a good thing. And it makes them, you may not be able to see it, but it does create a change in the energy around you, where you start seeing people around you being happier. You start seeing people around you creating the capacity within themselves to have housing and shelter, to have the capacity to have food and the things they need. So please remember to dedicate the goodness that you've done, and dedicate it to the causes that touch your heart. And lastly, having the state of mind where I'm willing to give up my body, my possessions, and all of my good deeds. It's a state of mind where that you realize that everything that you give up is planting a seed that will actually give you the cause to have more. When I share what I have, I'm simply planting a seed for more of it to come back to me by having given it, so I'll have more to give. So it just, if you think of it that way, it's easy to think about having the state of mind where I want to share as much as possible, whether it be things that I have, love in my heart, wisdom that I might have. It could be as simple as teaching someone how to make pie dough, um, or allowing someone to teach me how to make pie dough. Just something silly like that. It, but sharing what I know and allowing other people to share with me so they can plant good seeds too. But be willing to give it all away. It can be tough, and you don't give away more than you can at more than you have the capacity to give. Like, I wouldn't want anybody to get so inspired that they go out and give away their house and then regret it later, because the if you regret having done a good deed, it plants a bad seed. So only give to the capacity that you have at the present moment. And that could be that maybe you give away some potatoes. That's from ancient scripture, that you give away something like vegetables, because that's where your capacity is at. And as you start giving away even that food for somebody, it will grow so that you can give away more as your capacity grows. So that's important to remember too. All right, so we want to continue on this path of planting the seeds to have the virtue to develop our bodhisattva, to become a bodhisattva, and to see emptiness directly. So there are 3 levels of virtue that we can be happy about giving away. And it's these 3 virtuous deeds of one that will take us to a higher birth. If, let's say, we believe that we have past and future lives, well, there's no guarantee that our next life is going to be a human life. We could be reborn as a fly. We could be reborn as a superhero. We don't know. But we plant the seeds to have a higher rebirth. It's something to be aware of. What's our capacity? What level are we planting at? It's the 3 capacities. Am I only doing this to plant seeds for a higher rebirth for myself? Or am I doing this because I don't want any more suffering? I don't want to take on any more rebirths. I really want to stop all the agitations and the negativities in my mind, so that I want to plant the seeds for my own nirvana, where I'm free of the mental affections, but other people might still have them. Or are we planting the seeds that we can truly become some person, some being who has the capacity to see all beings enlightened, that we would be the highest enlightenment, a totally enlightened Buddha, where they're omniscient and they actually know how to help other beings. They know what they need at any moment of any time of the day. They know all things, past, future, and present. They have an omniscient mind. And that's our goal. When we become a bodhisattva, our goal is the Mahayana way, which is the highest enlightenment, the enlightenment of wanting all beings to reach total enlightenment, so there's just no more suffering. We don't see it anymore. And that's because we see a world where everyone else is enlightened with us. Okay. And what's the opposite of rejoicing? And I chose this broken glass because it looks painful. And the opposite of rejoicing is you hurt yourself. You can cut yourself. That broken glass, if you picked it up to clean it up, you could cut your fingers, or maybe, it broke because you hit it accidentally or on purpose and you cut yourself. It's something that harms you. The opposite of rejoicing is creating more pain, more suffering for yourself. And it's a type of jealousy. If I were to walk into a class or classes that other people are teaching and see how well they're doing, and maybe have a little ill will, wishing they weren't so good and that I wish I could be better, then that's a seed of jealousy that I'm planting in myself that will just cause me future harm. But if in that same instance I walk into that class and I recognize that teacher is so amazing, and I realize that they're coming from me, from my seeds, then I have something to rejoice about. And when I rejoice in their success and their ability to be such an amazing teacher, I'm planting seeds to become a good teacher myself. So I really try that. I really practice that one a lot because I have so far to go. I appreciate all the good teachers, all the people who share with me little things they know. It's just so inspiring and it makes me really happy at this moment. So I'm trying to turn all those misunderstanding seeds of jealousy that I've had in the past into being happy when I see people being successful, people getting what they want, because I know I'm this close to having it myself, or I wouldn't be seeing it. So, really, especially if we're working on our bodhicitta to becoming a bodhisattva, we want to turn around our thoughts of jealousy to thoughts of joy. Turn it around so you can use it to plant great seeds for yourselves to become what you see. I get so inspired by that, and I hope you do too. So jealousy really it is a form of anger, and it causes us a lot of future suffering. You know, if we're constantly jealousy, we're always in a stage of wanting and never being content with what we have. But as a bodhisattva, we're really working to appreciate others and wanting to help them and being happy for the chance to help them. So it's a good thing to remember throughout the day. If we see somebody having a nicer car than us, a greener lawn, we can change it up. We have that capacity because of our own emptiness and the emptiness around us. We can plant different seeds. And finally, oh, that's a weird little slide. Sorry, it just overlaid. I don't know if I can fix that, but I can read it to you. So there's 4 types of dedication. And the first type is just a general dedication where you just, I'm going to put this good deed that I did into my bank account and I'm going to keep it there until maybe I need it, or we can just dedicate it to all beings having happiness and the causes for happiness. It's there. It's in my bank account. I stored it. I dedicated it to all beings. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but it's there. And then the other types of dedication are dedicating to specific things, like the dedication for removing sickness. There's a lot of sickness in this world. We've just come out of the first pandemic I've ever experienced, the COVID pandemic. I'd never heard of anything like that before, where basically the whole world kind of shut down. I mean, I don't want to see that happen again because it hurt a lot of people and a lot of people died. A lot of people were isolated, and if they were in a nursing home, you couldn't even visit them. So maybe when I do something, I might want to dedicate it to seeing all sickness and all people removed and having them have the wisdom and the knowledge to know how to stop sickness by helping others stay healthy. I dedicate this goodness that I've done from this teaching to having all beings be free of bad health and the causes for bad health. And then maybe the next type of dedication, I want to dedicate to all these things, but dedicating things so that I don't see people begging for food on the street or no clean water to drink. That's a really big thing because I know a lot of places in the world, the water is contaminated and there's a high infant mortality rate because they can't get clean water and their babies die of cholera, dysentery, and it's really sad. So if we see something like that, then maybe when we do a good deed of maybe passing an aspirin to someone when they have a headache, we can dedicate our sharing this intention to make someone feel better and remove their headache to all beings having the causes to have their hunger, their thirst diminished, and that they understand how they can do that by sharing food, having clean water. And the aspirin works better for removing sickness, but if I gave them food, something to eat and dedicate that giving of food to all beings having the causes for food and clean water, that's a good thing. And then what about dedicating the good deeds that we do to everyone having all their wishes come true? Well, why not? I want everybody to have what they want. But here's a question about that last one. What if they get what they want, but it's a temporary karma? It's, they get the food they want, but then they're going to be hungry again. They get it, but it doesn't last. Is that a good thing to do? It is, because whether they understand emptiness or not, we still want to see other people get what they want. And then we want to teach them about emptiness and where things come from. But in the meantime, before they've reached that capacity, we want them to be healthy. We want to see people have shelter. We want to see people have clean water. And then, when they have those things, they have more time to learn the Dharma, because without those, they're just struggling all the time. So we do want them to have food, shelter, clean water, and the things that their hearts desire. And then we have the ability, they have more capacity to come to teachings, to learn about the Dharma. Because when you're hungry or you're thirsty, you don't have the mindset that you even want to learn about the Dharma. So think about that, and it's okay. We're going to help them at the level that they can receive our help. And then we're going to, when they're ready and they want these teachings, we could give that to them. So this has been a fast class, but really it boils down to there's a sickness in the world, and the sickness is misunderstanding where things come from, liking things ignorantly and doing bad things to get what we want and to avoid the things that we don't want. And just this self-perpetuating cycle of ignorance, continuing to grasp the things without thinking where they come from, and avoiding things because we don't like them, not realizing that we planted the seeds and then replanting the seeds. And the antidote, the biggest antidote, is emptiness. Alix gave us a list of antidotes in her presentation, like making representations of the Buddha, speaking the high being's needs and names, like a name mantra of your teacher or something like that. Those are two of the ways, and there's other ways too. The best one is to think about emptiness and how we're creating our problems. So when we make dedications that we've just talked about, it's really wishing that all beings can become enlightened by what we've done, that we can be the medicine, the cure, and the physician to help all beings get what they need. Really, it comes from us being ready to dedicate what the good we do and to become a living example so that people will want to learn the Dharma. And that's how we can become the medicine, the cure, the doctor, even the sick, to help the sick and give food and drink for the needy. We can be ready to help everyone get what they want by teaching them what they need to do to get it. And that's the goal of this whole class, that we can develop our bodhicitta, we can become a bodhisattva, and we can develop the capacity and create the energy around us that we can see emptiness directly and grow on to our own total enlightenment, that we can be that person who knows what others need, when they need it, and how to get it for them by teaching them. So I'm going to close with a verse from Master Shantideva, a prayer that is just short, but I pray as well that I may become the medicine and the physician, as well as nurses for all who are sick, until the day they are cured. And that's our wish for all of us, not just ourselves, but for all of us to become who we want to be to help all living beings. Someone who knows what they need to take up and what they need to stop doing so that they can become a Buddha themselves. And we need teachers, and that's why we ask them to stay, so that we ourselves, I need teachers, so that I'll know what to take up, what to put down, and what to plant, so that I can become that superhero to help all beings. So thank you for coming to class today. And starting next week on Friday, we'll present class 6. on the chapter on not getting angry. And Alix will be presenting that. And it's going to be wonderful because it'll give us a skill set of how we can stop our anger before it starts by recognizing what makes us angry and trying to avoid it, or just this, we can stop the angry before we plant the bad seed. So I hope you tune in, and I want to thank you for being with us today. See you next week.